सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाषिकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तिरेह दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्महं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि यत्साक्षात् सच्चिदानन्दं प्रत्यगद्वयं क्रीं तन्नमामि योगिगम्यं परं पदम् खानिलाग्निर्धरित्रन्तं सर्पणियोद्गतं यथा ध्वान्तच्छितिनमस्तस्मै हरे बुद्धिसाक्षिणम्। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। सर्वभूतेषु. So 49th verse said, अपहारो यथा भानोः सर्वतः जलपात्रकैः तत्क्रिया आकृति देशाप्तिस् तथा बुद्धिभिर् आत्मनः. So how there is apahara of Bhanu, meaning how there is a claim on the Surya by all the Jalapatras, as this is me or mine, ahanto. Similarly, here buddhi bhi atmanah tatkriya akruti deshaptihi. Similarly, is the case of the exemplified Atma, where buddhi dharma is claimed by Atma. Buddhi, buddhi kriya, buddhi akruti, desha, all of these are attained by Atma as though. Further in the 50th verse, Sarva Bhuteshu Eka eva ched Atma tarhi tasya yugapadeva paraspara viruddha Sukha Dukha Raga Dvesha Bhranti Samyak Jnana Adi Ashrayatvam Prasajyate. Long samasa. So we have seen this in Vichar Sagar also, elsewhere also. If at all Atma is one, then Sukha, Dukha, that is experienced by everyone. Sukha, Dukha, they are Viruddha dharmas. Sukha and Dukha are Viruddha. You cannot have Sukha as well as Dukha at the same time. In different Vishayas there may be Sukha, different Vishayas there may be Dukha, but simultaneously both are not there. You feel, let's say, there is a lot of cause for Dukha and some cause for Sukha, then you will be Dukhi. If you have a lot of cause for Sukha and some cause for Dukha, you will be Sukhi. Simultaneously, you will not be Sukhi as well as Dukhi. That is the case. Now, if you are Sukhi, the other may be Dukhi. And there are several such opposing emotions which are there across jivas. So, Sarva Bhuteshu Eka eva ched Atma. Atma Eka eva ched. If in everyone there is only one Atma, then simultaneously, what should be the Anubhava? Paraspara Viruddha. What is that? Mutually opposed to each other. Sukha, Dukha, Raga, Dvesha. Somebody has Raga towards the same person or any other person also, or whatever Vishaya also. There are so many Ragas, one has, the other has Dvesha at the same time. Further what? Bhranti, Samyak Jnana, opposite to each other. Delusion also, and meaning Ayathartha Jnana and Yathartha Jnana. Somebody has Yathartha Jnana, other has Ayathartha Jnana. Adi Ashrayatvam Prasajyate. Prasajyate Kasya Atmana. So Atma will have Viruddha dharmas like simultaneously having Sukha and Dukha, simultaneously Raga and Dvesha, Bhranti and Samyak Jnana, Adi. Any opposing pairs, all emotions put together. You can say opposing because to show the contrast. All of these will be there in the same Atma. Atma will become Ashraya for all of these simultaneously. Tacha Anupapannam, that is untenable. How can you have Sukha Dukha together? How can you have Ragadvesha together? How can you have Bhranti and Samyak Jnana together? Tacha Anupapannam, Tat Katham Uktam, Drugeka sarva bhuteshu iti. How did you say there is only one Druk, Chaitanya, Atma across all bhutas? It is untenable, illogical. Tatra aha. To this, Siddhanti says nacha iti. In Sambandhokti, Bhagavan Vartikakara says nacha viruddha dharmanam ekatra anupapattihi. Viruddha dharmas cannot be together. Ekatra anupapatti nasti. Siddhanti says no, viruddha dharmas can be there together. How? Just by saying it won't work. Raga and Desha cannot be together. How do you say it can be together? Ekatra anupapatti na. Double negation. Meaning ekatra upapatti. Viruddha dharmas cannot be together is the akshepa. Siddhanti says no, not so. Meaning what? It is, Purvapakshi says illogical, untenable. Siddhanti says not untenable, not illogical means logical only. How? Kim karanam? Purvapakshi will ask, Kim karanam? How so? How can Raga Dvesha be together? How can Bhranti and Samyak Jnana be together? It will go opposed against your own Siddhanta, Vedanta. Because if Jnana is there, you cannot have Bhranti. How do you say it can be together? Siddhanti says further in the Tika, what do you have? Ekasyam. So he gives an example. A Prasiddha example we have seen earlier, but take it with a pinch of salt. Okay. So कल्पितानाम अवस्तुत्वात् स्यादेकत्रापि संभवः कमनीया शुचि स्वादु इत्येकस्यामि वयोषिति कल्पितानाम अवस्तुत्वात् स्यात् एकत्र अपि संभवः कमनीया अशुचिः स्वादु इति एकस्याम इव योषिति. So here, Yoshita, so it's a word for a woman. So now we have seen the example, the shocking example which came up earlier. Siddhanti said that the body, mind, sense complex are separate from you. The body, especially the Stula Sharira, while discussing that, Stula Sharira is not Atma. And how did he say? He gave a shocking example as a, you will know when it is carried by people after the death. And then he gave shocking example of dog claiming the body, putting its paw on it, on the head, etc. So that example is reused here in the case of a woman here now. So he says, Viruddha dharmas can be together. How? You look at one stree, one woman, he says kamaniya. For the husband, kamaniya. So desirable. Here. So that woman is desirable. Kama Vishaya basically. Kamaniya, Kama Vishaya. Kamini ityartha here. Then here, Ashuchihi. Ashuchihi, see from the perspective of, we'll see from the perspective of sannyasi. We'll say sannyasi will look at the body. So it is not desirable. So for a, let's say, husband or any man, the woman is desirable, right? So the quality in the woman would be what? Kamaniya. She is kamaniya now. So yogyata is there. For the sannyasi, he should not be desiring a woman. So here, ashuchi. So he'll look at that deha pinda as, not something to be associated with, not clean. Clean in the sense, ashuchi from the perspective of the shastra also. So there is no impure. So you'll say impure. How impure? For the sannyasi, impure. His body also actually, but here example is given of the woman. So he should have no association with a woman. Then from the dog's perspective, swadu, meaning tasty, the body is tasty. How? From the dog's perspective. Because it is just looking at it as flesh. So these are the example. Iti ekasyam eva yatha yoshiti. In a single woman, you have all these three, not only two opposing dharmas, three tangential dharmas. Opposite tangential also. Why? What is the hetu? He says, ekatra api kalpitanam avastutvat sambhavas syat. It is possible because all these three, kamaniya, ashuchi, swadu, these are all three kalpita. Dog imagines as a flesh which has some taste. A man imagines that, this is something that I want to associate with. So he looks at it. It is all kalpita. Kalpita for all three differently. Sannyasi says ashuchi. Basically, by default, there neither kamaniyatva nor asuchitvam, and it does not have swadutvam also. By default, there is nothing there. So the woman is a woman, that's all. There is nothing more there. So every other thing. So what is this Shobana, Ashobana, Adhyasa? Whether it is Shobana or Ashobana, this is an Adhyasa, Kalpita. So Kalpita cannot have any opposition with each other. To look at the other example that we have seen earlier, Rajju Sarpa, Rajju may appear as Sarpa also, Bhuchidra also, Jaladhara also. Where is the opposition between somebody who sees, there are all different dharmas, tangential. Sarpa cannot be Bhuchidra, it cannot be Jaladhara, and vice versa among them. Mutually, they are opposed to each other. They are tangential to each other. They cannot be together. One Vastu cannot be Sarpa also, Bhuchidra also, and Jaladhara also. There is no opposition. Why? Because all three are Kalpita. What is it really? Really, it is Rajju. Rajju has no issue if you... Real Rajju has absolutely no change if it is being seen as Sarpa or Bhuchidra or Mala or, however, Jaladhara, Bhuchidra, ityadi. So Kalpita do not have any opposition with each other also, and Kalpita does not have an opposition with real also. Between Sarpa and the other three, there is no opposition. Among the three also, there is no opposition. Why? Avastutvat. Kalpita are avastu. They are not vastu. Vastu and vastu, if they are opposite dharma, they cannot be together. Like what? Like the sarpa and the mungus. The serpent and the mungus cannot be together. They are vastus, they are opposed to each other. But here there is no virodha like that. Therefore, ekatra api kalpitanam avastutvat kamaniya ashuchihi swadu iti ekasyam yoshiti iva ekatra api sambhava syad. That is the single line anvaya. Further, in the Tika, something is left. Ekasyam yoshiti, Tikakara says, Kamuka Parivrajaka Shunam iti Sheshaha. So one who is Kamuka, man who desires a woman, so for him, what? Irrespectively, Kamaniya. For Parivraja Sannyasi, Ashuchi. For here, Shuna. So Shuna there is Shwana. So dog. For a dog, Ashuchi. There's a tippana there. What is it? Panchadashi and something is quoted. Let's see. If Ekasmin Yoshidarthe Kamukasya Kamaniyata Parivrajakasya Ashuchitvam Shunam Krute Punaha Suswadu Bhojanam iti bhava. We have seen this. So for Ekasmin Yoshidarthe. So Yoshit is a Shabda. Artha is what? Stri Pinda. The Stri Sharira here. So Kamukasya, for a Kamuka person, Kamaniyata for a man, Kamaniyata is there. That is the dharma there he sees. Parivrajikasya ashuchitvam, he sees impurity there. Shunam for dogs, Krute, for the dog, Shunam Krute, Punaha Swaswadu, Suswadu, very tasty food. That's how it looks at the flesh there. Uktam is Sarvadarshana Sangraha. So Sarvadarshana Sangraha, there in the section of what Bauddha Darshana, there it is mentioned. Parivrat Kamuka Shunam Ekasyam Pramadatano Kunapah Kamini Bhaksha iti Tisro Vikalpana. Different words, but same idea is given in that. Then Panchadashi also Tata Chuktam Panchadashyam Bharya Snusha Nananda cha Yata Mata iti Anekadha Pratiyogi Dhiya Yoshid Bhidyatena Swarupata. Here different, same example, but with different dharmas. So same woman is seen as what? As a different Bharya, Snusha. These are all relations. Nanad, you say Nananda. So what you say as Nanad in Hindi. Yata, Mata. So all these can be a Mata also, can be. So from the perspective of the child's mother and from the perspective of the, various perspectives. But dharma is changing from perspectives, Kalpita. But the woman is does not have any of these dharmas. She cannot be a mata all the time, cannot be bharya all the time, etc. So swarupatah na vidyate. Swarupatah vastu na vidyate. Why? Kalpitatvat. Avastu nam kalpitatvat. So pratiyogi diya, one who is imagining in his buddhi all these ideas are there. But yoshidna swarupata na vidyate. Anekada pratiyogi diya. In manifold manner, based on the pratiyogi, based on the drishti of the dependent, one who has this drishti. So that is given in the tippana there. 51st verse, introduction says, Kalpitatve sati tatha syat. Tadeva siddhamiti. Purva Pakshi says, you have used hetu as kalpitanam avastutvat. Avastutvat is a hetu that it is not a real thing. Why? Because it is imagined. Kalpita is used as a hetu garbha visheshana. Very nicely you, the Siddhanti, saying avastutvat. How avastu? There is a hetu there. Kalpitanam, although it is in Shashti, for avastutva it is a hetu. It is a hetu garbha visheshana in that sense. So kalpita is not proven yet. You cannot use it as a hetu. You are saying it is kalpita, and then use that hetu as though it is an axiom and say avastutvat. How do you say it is kalpita? It is not kalpita. You have to prove that it is kalpita. Kalpitatve sati tatha syat. What you say is absolutely perfect. How? Only if kalpitatvam is proven. But kalpitatvam, tadeva kalpitatvam asiddham. It has not been proven yet. It has not been established. I am not agreeing that you have, in the example you have used, all of this is kalpita. In the exemplified especially, these dharmas are kalpita, viruddha dharmas. This has to be proven. I am not agreeing that it has been proven. So, tadeva siddham iti, tatraha nachayam iti. Thereby, now, Siddhanti says, how these are kalpita, how they are avastu. He says, Nachayam kriyakaraka phalatmakaha abhasaha. In the Sambandhokti, Nachayam kriyakaraka phalatmakaha abhasaha ishadapi paramartha vastu sprishati tasya mohamatrupadanatvat. Siddhanti says, why it is kalpita, I am saying, is because Atma is asanga. Atma is asanga. Atma cannot have any of these dharmas in the exemplified. All these viruddha dharmas have nothing to do with Atma because Atma is asanga. And since Atma being asanga, there is sanga seen with others, all of these dharmas, therefore it is due to moha. Asanga Atma cannot have these dharmas. So you have to say it is moha, meaning what? Kalpana only, kalpita. So you have to go to the Shruti, which tells you that Atma is asanga. Then every dharma which is seen is due to moha. It is due to delusion. And therefore what is kalpana? Being kalpana, being kalpita dharmas, all of those will be avastu only. So Siddhanti says, Nacha ayam kriyakaraka phalatmaka abhasa. Phalatmaka abhasa. All this abhasa, it appears all right. Pratiti matra does not make it satya. Just because you see it is not real. In fact, that is the hetu Siddhanti used drishyatvat mithya. If it can be, seen as an object, heard as an object, known as an object basically, then it is mithya. So Siddhanti says, ayam kriyakaraka phalatmakaha abhasaha pratiti. There is an appearance of kriya, karaka, it's phala, kriya, all sorts of kriyas, gamana kriya, oh I am going, jumping, I am jumping, all of these kriyas, all dhatu arthas are kriyas. I am sitting silent also, what is? So sta gati nivritto, tishtati, sa tishtati means what? Gati nivritto. Gati has to be there to be nivritti from gati. So that is also kriya only. Standing is a kriya, sitting is a kriya. So tushnim babuva, Arjuna said, that is also kriya. You are giving up something which you already think it is your dharma. Kshatriya dharma, whatever it is, that you are taking that, you have gone to the battlefield. Arjuna has already gone to the battlefield to fight. Why? Kshatriya dharma. Why Kshatriya dharma? Because you think yourself as a Manushya. Only when you know yourself as a Manushya, then only you will have Kshatriyatva ityadi. So Kshatriya dharma is because you think of yourself Manushya. Manushya means a limited entity. Jiva. That limited entity means not Brahma. Brahma is limitless. So having taken yourself as a limited entity, then that kind of limited entity has Manushyatva dharma, then Kshatriyatva dharma, then you look at others and then you say, I can't fight them. And therefore Tushnim Babuva sat silently, I won't, dropped his Gandiva and says, I'm not going to fight. So not fighting is withdrawal from that silence, that sitting silently is also Kriya. Because it has Moha Mula. Moha is the Mula. If you say that, I am Asanga Atma, I cannot have any Kriya, then whether you are doing Kriya or not doing Kriya, it does not affect you. But thinking that with the Dharma, Adharma, all of that Panditya, then you say, oh, I am not going to fight because it is Shoka Karana, I will be doing Papa, then you think that Atma is doing Karma. So it is not Akriya Atma, it is Kriyavat Atma. That Kriyavat Atma is Abhranti. Therefore, withdrawing from that Kriyavat Atmatva by saying that I'll be now without any Kriya, that is Abhranti. That kind of sannyasa is also Bhranti. So here, Kriya is Abhasa. So going away from Kriya is also Bhabhasa because you never had that to take it away. Kriya should be there to be given up. It is not there. From the Paramarthika perspective, I am saying, meaning from the Atma perspective, Atma does not have any of these. Of course, I think that I am entangled here and thereby some process may be there. That is a different story in Shastra. Here from the Atma perspective, Paramartha Vastu does not have any Sangha with any of these. So Kriya is not there. What about Karaka? I am not Karta, Kartrukaraka. Kartrukaraka, if I am, then Kriya will have association. So I am not Kartrukaraka. I am not Karma also of anything. That person objectifies me in one way or the other. I don't like it. I am not the object at all. I can never be an object. No, he uses me as a tool. Use and throw. There are a lot of use and throw. So people say, what? You use me to get your, your objective, you met your objective, you use me. You said that you will help me out later. No. So use me, Karana. So Karana Karaka, I am not Karana Karaka. All these ideas can be brought in. Basically, what Karaka is Kartru Karaka. Mostly Kartru Karaka, but all others can also come in its place. So Atma cannot be any of these Karakas. Because Panchami Karaka is Chaturthi Karaka Sampradana. I have given you so much. He says, I have not taken anything from you. Atma cannot take anything. So Sampradana it cannot be. Panchami Apadana Karaka, source of no parents say that, we have given you birth. The body has given birth to the other body. There is no Sambandha. Matru Putra Sambandha, Matru Putri or Pita Putra, Pita Putri Sambandha, none of those are there. For Atma, there is no Sambandha. All that is Dukkha Karaka. Of course, I mean, socially, Vyavaharika, all that is not being refuted here. From the Paramarthika perspective, Atma cannot have a Putra. Putri, Putra, it cannot have any Sambandha. So Panchami, Apadana Karaka, it cannot be. Born of me, you cannot claim that. That born of me is with the Sambandha with the Sharira. Saptami also, Shashti, Sambandhi Shashti. Sambandha is also not possible, although not Karaka, Sambandha is not possible. Again, Mama Putra, Mama Bhrata, Mama Mata, Mama Pita, none of that Sambandha is possible because Atma is Asanga. Saptami Adhikarana. You cannot be Adhikarana for anything. So Adhikarana, here Adhikarana very tricky to see. So, but Adhikarana, you can say, as a child I carried you for so long, or whatever, or Adhikarana, mother can say, in gestation period, 9 months I have carried you to the Putra, Putri, whatever. So that is also not possible. Atma cannot carry anyone, cannot be Adhikarana. Just a loose example, just to drive home that point that Karaka is not possible. Karakatva is not possible for Atma. Phala, Atma is not a result of anything, or Atma cannot any Kriya results also. Atma is not born out of, as moksha, Atma is not born out of anything. By Shravana also, Atma is not born. Atma is a Siddha Vastu, not a Sadhya. So, Phalatmaka, Abhasa that we have, Sukhat, I will be Sukhi. Atma, now I am Dukhi Atma, I'll be Sukhi and Anand Rupa Atma later. That is also Phala. In moksha, there is Atyantika Sukha. What is that? Atma that is Dukhi will become Atyantika Sukhi later. Meaning, Swarupata itself it will change. That is also not possible because this is a Bhranti of Ekadeshi Vedanti. They say that Atma is really Baddha, then it will become free. Atma is Dukhi now, can become free and become Ananda Rupa. No, Swarupa cannot change. So, not Phala also. Thereby, Ayam Kriya Karaka Phalatmakaha Abhasascha Ishadapi Paramartha Vastu na Sprushati. Ishad means little also, even a little. There is not even a whiff of this Kriya, Karaka and Phala. Why? Tasya Moha Matra Upadanatvat. Upadana is Karana here. Moha alone is the Karana for this, nothing else. Moha that I am a mother, father, and thereby all the sambandhas. Whatever. Tika न chayamiti tatra न chayamiti tika. Okay, there is tika after the shloka. So shloka says abhutabhiniveshena swatmanam vanchayatyayam asatyapi dvitiyarthe soma sharma prita yatha. So there is a example, a prasiddha story, okay, like you have this in Hindi, you have Sheikh Chilli. This is a more shocking story, okay, more shocking story. Take it with additional pinch of salt, okay. This is it won't sound good, but as it is I really don't know how to put it. It sounds it sounds very raw, okay, meaning especially in today's world you cannot get away by these examples the way because women slip and all that, and then anyway the behavior of the man also, you say patriarchal society, this is how it was. I won't say this is how it was, but there are such examples. So a lot of abuse goes on, but here the sandarbha is a little different, in the sense that there is violence at home, but due to a particular event. So imagine this, the story. I'll just give a background here before going into the Padacheda also, so that somebody who interprets this and goes ahead and they jump ahead, it should not feel bad to look at this example. So I'm buffering it a little, diluting it a little. Imagine husband and wife, okay, they are not well off, okay, there is a lot of poverty. So there is a son, okay, so they can't feed themselves, but at least they'll feed the child. Okay, now the example is what? Somehow the husband has brought some atta, some wheat flour, etc. So some roti can be made. Therefore, he has brought it and kept it in a vessel. Now, this is the only thing that they have. Without this, they can't survive. Especially the child will not survive. They have to feed the child first so that the child survives. Somehow they'll manage. Somehow they can, get some food later. This is the example. They're in that kind of a poverty, daridrya. There, now by mistake, the wife drops it and the flour is gone. So what will happen? Now the son won't survive. So this angers the husband, and for the care, because he thinks that the son is going to die now because there is no food, and then he beats up his wife. Okay, kicks his wife. This is the example. Okay, so there is a hetu here. It is not that so very distasteful. But what is this? This is all what? Now he'll say how this happens. This is imagination. Okay, so here he says abhuta abhiniveshena. Abhuta abhiniveshena is a single word. Swatmanam single word. Vanchayati ayam. Vanchayati ayam. Asati api dvitiye arthe Soma Sharma Pitha Yatha. So the example is Soma Sharma is the son. Okay. Imagined son. There is no son. Imagined son. So Yatha Soma Sharma Pitha Asati api dvitiyarthe, meaning dvitiyartha is Soma Sharma. The Soma Sharma son is not there. He is imagining that if I had a son, how would it be? So he has lost in some kind of an imaginary world there. So daydreaming. So dvitiyarthe, meaning here Soma Sharma Rupa Putre. Asati api. Sati Saptami, negation. Even if there is no second entity, there is no second entity means not only Putra, wife is itself not there. There is no wife also. So that may be one case. The other may be wife may be there, but Putra is not there. So Dvitiyarthi here. Abhuta Abhiniveshena. So Abhuta, there is no, it is not there, but Abhinivesha. Think that, okay, like Abhinivesha, when you say you investing the money that you don't have. Is it possible? No. So here Abhuta Abhinivesha means Putra is not there, is imagined. Wife that is not there is imagined otherwise. Swatmanam Manchayati, fools oneself. With this Kalpana, I am Pita, not a Pita really, thinks himself as Pita, imagines a son, and then Swatmanam oneself. It is reflexive. Vanchayati, fools oneself, cheats oneself, as if I have a family. So people who they want families, but they cannot get married for whatever reasons or cannot get children. So this is that kind of an example. So the elaboration is given in the Tika. This much is sufficient there. We'll quickly look at this with the story background. Yatha santu kaschin मनोरथ कल्पितम सोम शर्म संहितम पुत्रम अरक्षन्तीम भार्याम पदा प्रहरणेन आत्म सर्वस्वम सक्तु कुंभम babanja tatha ityartha. Saktu is basically some, it is some food. Saktu, it's, it's not atta, it's not flour, it is some grains, okay? So, and something cooked with that, you can imagine that. So, some food, that is the only sampatti. So, he says, Atma Sarvaswam, all that this person has is that Saktu Kumbha. There is a drum or a pot full of some Saktu. Saktu is some, I think, some kind of a soup or something, okay? Or some chana or something. I think I'm not really sure what exactly. It is used for multiple things. So that Kumbha is the only sampatti. Nothing else is there. That much of Daridrya. He says, Babanja, it broke there, Tatha Ityartha. Here he says, Yatha Santu Kaschin Manoratha Kalpitam Soma Sharma Sanyitam Putram Arakshantim. Arakshantim Bharyam. Bharya is wife. Who is what? Arakshantim. She is not protecting. Whom? Putra. How? By Pada Praharanaina. Atmasarus, he kicks. By kicking. He kicks her. Why? Because she has not. Who is that? Manoratha Kalpitam Soma Sharma Sanyitam. That Putra is what? Soma Sharma, but he is Manoratha Kalpita. In daydreaming, he is imagining that this wife has, she didn't protect my son. That's why I don't have a son. Some, weird imagination there. So, Prarana Atma Sarvaswam Saktukumbam Bhavanje Tatha Ityartha. Similarly, is the case of this, who? In the exemplified. Similarly, is the case of Dukhi. We'll take all the undesirable dharmas for Atma. All of these are imagined. All of these imagined, and you are really what? Kicking yourself. Really kicking the others due to this reason. So this is the samsara. So the way that Soma Sharma, Pita, without Soma Sharma being there to go away, we are thinking that something I had is going away. Thereby we, kick ourselves or others, however it is. So we are also as bad as Soma Sharma Pita, because Kalpita, these are all Kalpita. This is the example. What is the Tippana? Santu. So Santu iti padam iha mastu. That Santu makes no sense there. Bahuvachana Santu, that need not be there. There may be an avyaya Santu, I think. Just let me check one moment. Santu, it is used that way, but Bhavatu is used. Santu, is there a Santu avyaya? If at all it is there. Why my keyboard is not working? Santu avyaya, I don't see. No avyaya there. So Santu is need not be there. That Patha is some corruption in this. So there is no santu there. Anyway, so we'll skip this. And this much, 51st is like that. It's a shloka is just giving this possibility in an example, how such possibilities. You can take another example also, whatever, appeals to you in Kalpana and how as a disastrous effect. Similarly, is our case also. That's all the Tatparya is. So who is this Soma Sharma or who is that Soma Sharma Pita? Please don't ask me those questions. I wouldn't know. So Kalpanayaha ayatha vastu, just yathatmastu yathatmya. So Kalpanayaha ayatha vastu vyavahar hetutve drishtantantaram aha vastu yathatmi iti. So Kalpana, Siddhanti says, so in the example that was given, you can think that the wife is there. You can imagine the wife is there, son is not there. He imagines that son is starving due to the wife's fault and kicks the wife. Right? In the example, the kicking is not imagined. The kicking is not imagined. The putra is imagined. Then it will make sense. He is imagining that I don't have a son now, the son will die, thinking that he has kicked his wife. Why? Because that much of dukkha in the imaginary world, it has led to the karya in the real world, in vyavahara. That is the example. That's why kalpanaya ayatha vastu vyavahara hetutve dushtanta aha. How is it possible that somebody, or you can say that he is kicking, whether the wife is there or not is irrelevant, but he is, or in the dream you see something and then you act out in the waking world without waking up. So there are people who kick. I don't know, especially parents who have slept with their children who are growing up. They kick sometimes. Some of these kids kick, especially if they are dreaming. So they end up kicking the mother or the father. They say, "I will sleep elsewhere. I can't sleep next to this kid." The kid kicks. So that is possible. Maybe in the dream that kid is seeing something and then he kicks. Possible. So that kind of an example. So we'll take something which is appealing. So that kind of an example. So here now another example to show kalpanayaha ayatha vastu vyavahara etutve. How does this lead to vyavahara, which is ayatha vastu? It is not real. Vyavahara, this vyavahara is not in Atma. But kalpana causes that. How? For that, another example. Drishtantantaram, anya drishtanta. Drishtantantaram, aha vastu yathatmya. Thereby, Sambandhyoktikara gives another example. Maybe this will be easier. He says, vastu yathatmya anavabodha patalavana, patalavana avanadhaksha. Difficult. Vastu yathatmya anavabodha patala avanadhaksha. There is anavabodha here and there avanadha aksha. Aksha is eyes. Sun. Further. Vastu yathatmya. What is the real swarupa of any vastu? Atma here. Anavabodha. Not knowing that. Meaning what? Ajnana. Due to the ajnana of vastu yathatmya, atma yathatmya, thereby what? Patala avanadaksha. So that itself is this anavabodha is called as pata. The patala avanadaksha. So here patala is with a cloth. What you what do you say, the like eye shades, or something to that you tie your eyes. So patti, basically patala is patti there. So here he says patala navar aksha. What do you say? So what is the exact this thing? The it is also has a meaning of patala has a meaning of netra roga also. So netra roga also can be taken here. Or pata itself, pataeva patalam, a veil, basically some kind of a veil. So ajnana is a veil. So example is used as a piece of cloth. Like patala is also a piece of cloth. And avanadhaksha, with that A person who has his eyes which are tied up or covered, veiled. So this is a person, Bahuri, okay? So Vastu Yathatmya Anavabodha, meaning Ajnana regarding Vastu Yathatmye Ajnanam. So Anava Anavabodha. That itself is Karmadharaya with Patala. That is Patala, and via this Patalena, Avanadha Aksha Akshini Yasya. One who has eyes which are tied up by the cloth, which is what, or rather we'll say why by the cloth in the form of Vastu Yatatmya Ajnana, Anavabodha. Being that kind of a person, Subhru, Sunasa, Sumukhi, Sunetra, Charu, Hasini, Kalpana, Matra Sammohad, Rametyalingate, Suchim. So here again the same example goes further. So this person here, Padacheda, Subhru, Sunasa, Sumukhi, Sunetra, Charuhasini, Kalpana Matra Sammohad, Rama, Iti, Alingate, Asuchim. He says the body is Asuchi. And this, the example of the Kamuka now, which was seen, the person who desires this woman, and we have heard this Sumukhi, we have heard this word Sumukhi, Chandramukhi, Ityadi. So here it is a comparative. So towards the Premika, what are the words he uses? Subhru, very, eyebrows are also beautiful. Sunasa, the nose is beautiful. So it's all Bahuri, okay? So one who has beautiful eyebrows, one who has beautiful nose, Mukha anyway, face is beautiful, Netra, eyes are beautiful, Charu Hasini, the smile also. Smile also is beautiful. Such kind of woman. Who is this? He says, Kalpana Matra, all of these. Others don't see it. You see it. So they say what beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So very common example. He says, Kalpana Matra Sammoha. All of these are Kalpana only. Due to your imagination like that, all of these appear in that woman. And thereby what? Rama. Rama is what? Oh, overall what? Now, parts, yes, said beautiful parts. Now he says the entire, therefore the entire woman is beautiful. Rama. So therefore Rama means Ramadhatu again, derived by Ramadhatu. So he rejoices. So somebody who gives pleasure, that kind of a Rama. So that word is used for her. Now she appears as Rama to him, very desirable, and thereby alingatis, asuchim alingate. So he, hugs the asuchi body. Body is, your body is filthy, her body is also filthy here. Because body is like how much ever you bathe it, it will be like that only. So thereby, imagining attributes what are not there, thereby Shobhanadhyasa ityartha, Shobhanadhyasa, and thereby Tikakara said Kalpanaya ayatha vastu vyavahare tutve. It is she is neither Subhru, she is not Rama, basically she is not Rama. He sees her as Rama, so ayatha vastu vyavahara, what is the hetu? Kalpana is the hetu for that. Because all of the Subhru, Sunasa, Sumukhi, Sunetra, Charuhasini is the Kalpana, and thereby Ashuchi is the Yatha, Vastu. And Rama is Ayatha. Rama is an imagination there. Due to all the imagination, Rama is the resultant of that imagination. And thereby, Drishtantantamaha, we saw the 52nd verse, nothing more to it. Very easy to understand. Similarly, in the exemplified, all of these dharmas that you see in the Atma cannot be in the Atma, which is Asanga. This much is the Tatparya Vishaya there. Yaduktam aham tad ubhayam, 53rd tika, Yaduktam aham tad ubhayam bibrat, Bhrantim Atmani yachati iti. In the shloka, a little while back we had seen, tad ubhayam. Ubhayam is what? Drashta and Drishya. Drashta and Drishya, aham is ahankara. Ahankara, what does it do? Atmani bhrantim yachati. It strengthens or grants what, or results in delusion in the Atma. Doing what? Ubhayam Bibrat. Strengthening the notion of Drashtritvam also and Drishyatvam also. Drishya and Drashta both are fed by this Ahankara. Basically, it is the bridge between Atma and Anatma. So it makes the Atma a subject, right? And the same Atma which lends Satta, etc., and Nama Rupatmaka Prapancha becomes an object. Object in the sense what? Real existent object. So Satta is lent, Spurti is lent. Therefore, it strengthens the idea of Atma becoming subject to that Atma's appearance becoming an object. And also tying them up together as a single individual. Without that, you cannot have subject-object division. Subject-object division in a single entity is not possible. That single entity appears separately as an object, and that same entity appears as subject, and to become the subject, it has tied up this ahankaradi as myself. Therefore, aham mam janami, where this discussion began, mam aham janami, that ahankara is separate from you, said the Siddhanti. Purvapakshi said no, but in aham brahmasmi it is one. Aham brahmasmi, that aham has to be atma, and aham is ahankara, so ahankara is atma. This is how he has said. So that is also possible only due to this ahankara, which makes ahankara appear as separate from Brahma, and also in the Mahavakya somehow land into the main meaning of Atma to make it as Brahma. Ahankara is not Brahma in Aham Brahmasmi. But Ahankara, via Ahankara, you have to land on Atma. Without Ahankara, you cannot land on Atma. Therefore, that Ahankara which is taken as me, that is also possible. And Ahankara which is separate is separable from this, tied up together. Seems like in the other examples, not aham brahmasmi, mam aham janami, as separate object also. So makes it possible to be an object also and subject also, and strengthening both these notions, drashtru and drishya dharma, what happens? Bibrat, tadubhayam bibrat. Atmani bhrantim ahankaram. Aham means ahankara eva yachati. Iti, what was said, tat prapanchaitum aha. To elaborate that, takes up that and elaborates that point in the shloka what was given, because it was not easy to see. So here he elaborates what is the purpose, we'll see. So he is opening up the Mahavakya, how that has to be understood. So he'll land on the Lakshana, because Vachyartha is not possible, you have to use Lakshana. So slowly he is leading there. Tompada Shodhana. Sarvasya iti. Thereby Sambandhokti. Sarvasya anartha jatasya jihasitasya मूलम अहंकार एव. वह त्यागे रियली हियर जिहासा. सो सर्वस्य अनर्थ जातस्य जिहासितस्य मूलम अहंकार एव. Here all of the so let me look at the sentence. सर्वस्य अनर्थ जातस्य जिहासितस्य मूलम अहंकार एव तस्य आत्मना तस्य आत्मना here तस्य आत्मना आत्म अनात्म उपरागात. Atma anatma uparagat. So here he says, Tika, 53rd, 53rd shloka and Tika, it's a long one. So here he says, Sarvasya anartha jatasya. All of the anartha jata, meaning everything that causes bhranti, all of that is what is anartha. So adversity, and jata is samuha there. So all of that causes bhranti in the atma, this anartha jata. So here he says sarvasya api, give me one moment, something is open here. Yeah, sarvasya api anarthaja jihasitasya moolam ahankarayo. What is the cause for that ahankara? And again, last time I said ahankara is what? First manifest ajnana. Ajnana is manifest as ahankara, and ahankara as karya dharma, sukshma sharira dharma, is also that which has already tied up from with atma also. Ahankara cannot be without atma. So although ajnana is manifest, it is already tied up with atma. Then only ahankara can come. Ahankara to appear as sat, as myself. Ahankara is seen as I. Therefore, there is atma sambandha, although it is avidya karya. Thereby, sarvasya anartha jatasya jihasitasya moolam. What is it? Ahankara only. Shatranta, jihasita, which actually what? Should be given up. Should be given up. All anartha should is what? Desirable to be given up. Jihasita anartha jata. Nobody wants anartha. So it is desirable to be given up for dukkhadi. Everything has to be given up. So all of that, what is the moola for all of that? Ahankara only. Ajnana janya ahankara. Eva. Tasya atma anatma uparagat. Why? Ahankarasya atma anatma uparagat. It is that which causes this tying up with atma and anatma. Uparaga is due to ahankara. Without that, atma and anatma cannot come together. Ajnana causes ahankara, which again brings these atma and anatma together. Pratibimbita. Ahankara is that which is pratibimbita, meaning pratibimba of atma, bimba, and antakarana, which is jada, in that. So this ahankara ties them together. Therefore, this is the cause of all adversities. Natu paramarthatah atmanah avidyaya tatkaryena va sambandha abhut. But paramarthata, in reality, there is no sambandha. Atmana avidyaya tatkaryena va. Look at this. Avidya tatkaryena va. Avidya karya. Ajnana karya is ahankara, and then anatma, all the anatma, and all the anartha, jata, samuha. None of these cannot, atma and they cannot have any association. Atma cannot have any association with anartha jata or anartha or dukkhadi or sukhadi also, because atma is asanga. So avidya tatkarinava, atma cannot have avidya sambandha, karana sharira, cannot have karya sharira sambandha, sukshma sharira, ahankaradi. There is no possibility. Paramarthata not possible. And not only he says sambandha abhut asti bhavishyati va. So paramarthata atmanah avidyaya sah tatkaryena va sah sambandha abhut asti bhavishyati va. It was never there. It is not there now. It won't be there ever. Trikala nisheda. Avidya and atma sambandha has trikala nisheda. With the karya of avidya and atma sambandha is also not there in any of the three kalas. Paramarthata. In vyavahara, you take all sambandha. In reality, there is no sambandha. So what is it due to? Ahankara makes it possible. Thereby, in the tika, what is the pratika? Sarvasyeti, nothing else. So let's look at this verse itself. Tasya aparilupta drishti swabhavyat. Why? What is the hetu? Paramarthata, there is no sambandha here. Tasya aparilupta drishti swabhavyat. It cannot have drishya sambandha. Why? All of these, the drishya, tatkarya, avidya, tatkarya, all of they are drishya. With drishya, it cannot have sambandha. Tasya aparilupta drishti swabhavyat, because it is that which has aparilupta drishti, meaning alupta druk. Always sakshi. Sakshi cannot have sambandha with any of these. Where any drishya, sakshi cannot have sambandha. Otherwise, sakshi is entangled as a karaka. if the Sakshi gets entangled, if Sakshi has Sambandha with the Drishya, then Sakshi is not a Sakshi anymore. Will become a Karaka. Will have some Sambandha, will be a Karaka. So here he says, this Alupta Drushti Swabhavyat. Alupta Drushti is the Swabhava. Alupta, we'll say what? Aparilupta. Parilupta. We'll say, then we'll do a Nai. So Parilupta दृष्टि स्वभावो यस्य एंड न तथा अविद्यमान सो अविद्यमान परिलुप्त दृष्टि स्वभावः यस्य दृष्टिरेव स्वभाव यस्य और विल से व्हाट फर्स्ट डू परिलुप्त दृष्टि स्वभाव एज स्वभाव एंड देन तस्य भाव स्वभाव्यात् एंड देन डू नई तत्पुरुष और यू कैन डू नई बहुरी एट वन गो. So basically, what is the idea? Atma is always a Sakshi. We have seen earlier also. Atma is always Sakshi. Never can this Atma be entangled with Drishya. So there cannot be Sambandha. There was no Sambandha. There is no Sambandha. There can be no Sambandha. So how does this happen now? It has already been said due to Ahankara. And that is Moha Mula. Here, Drishyanuraktam तद्द्रष्टृ दृश्यम द्रष्ट्रनुरंजितम अहम मृत्योभयम रक्तम तन्नाशे द्वैततात्मनः. सो दृश्यानुरक्तम वन वर्ड तद्द्रष्टृ और तद्द्रष्टु कैन बी सिंगल वर्ड ऑल्सो. दृश्यानुरक्तम तद्द्रष्टु कैन बी ए समस्त पद. बेटर मीनिंग विल गेट बेटर मीनिंग विद दैट. दृश्यम द्रष्टृ अनुरंजितम अहम वृत्त्या उभयम रक्तम तन्नाशे सिंगल वर्ड अद्वैतता आत्मनः. सो ही सेज दृश्य अनुरक्तम रंज रागे धातु इज व्हाट रंज रागे कलर्स. रागा इज कलर. सो अनुरक्तम मीन्स कलर्ड. Anu is for Anu Paschat, following the Drishya, following the object, Drashta, Tasya Drashta, Tadrashtru can be Tasya Drashtru in Napunsaka, is tainted, colored. Looking at the Drishya, the Drashta is tainted. Drishyam, what about Drishya? Drishya is also tainted, Drashtru Anuranjitam. Object, basically what? Subject is tainted by object is tainted by subject. Influenced, colored. See, how is Drashta Anurakta with the Drishya? This we know, we have Anubhava. You look at something, you say, oh, I like this. I don't like this. Right? The other way, the likeness and dislike is extended to the Drishya, which is in me, is extended to the Drishya. So, Shobhanadhyasa, Ashobhanadhyasa. Other way to see is what? Satta, etc. I am seeing, and all these dharmas go into the Drishya also. So, both ways there is dependency basically. Right from what? Drishya is Drishya, or rather Drashta, Atma as though becomes Drashta only when there is a Drishya. And Drishya also cannot be without Drashta. You cannot have an object without subject. You cannot have a subject without object. There is an interdependency. There is an interdependency, and further they get strengthened. The more I keep on objectifying, the more I'll become a subject. Right? The more I objectify anything, the more I am subject. That's why yogis, withdraw from all of this. The more interaction with anything, the more sanskaras you will have. That's why we say, I have so many years of experience of being this. You are playing a particular role. More the experience, more is your coloring. I've always been this kind of a person. How can I suddenly change? Why? Because Drishya has already tainted the Drashta in a particular manner. It is not only see the Drishya and Drashtutvam is Drishyatvam is Upalakshana here. Any kind of vyavahara that you do, the object taints the subject. Subject also colors the object. So both ways it is there. And what is the bridge between these two really? Aham vrittya ubhayam raktam. aham vritti, ahankara vritti, that I am this, that is tainting both. By calling myself as I am this kind of an entity, I, individual. As soon as I am an individual, then there is a subject-object division. Without individuality, you cannot have subject-object division anywhere. Individuality is there, then there is another, and then that other becomes an object, and object, because that individuality has made me a subject. Therefore, what? Aham vritya ubhayam raktam. There is a dependency of subject on the object, object on the subject, all right. But how does this division come up also? And how does this division grow also? Because of aham vritti. Aham ties up with the subject, not only the subject. Aham causes the subject, but with that subject division, individuality, the object division is also caused. In another way, you have a cake, you want a piece, right? So when you say that I will cut a piece, when you cut a piece out of a cake, it is no longer the full cake, right? So let's say you take a quarter piece of a cake, then 3/4 remain. It is no longer a full cake. So by saying no, I only took a piece, everything else is cut, right? So similarly, you take a piece out of the Atma as I am this individual, out of the Prapancha really. Prapancha, entire Prapancha, you say I am only this individual, this person. Everything else has been cut outside. It is not Purna anymore. Although we say from Purna, when you take away Purna, Purna remains, but you are not taking Purna. That is not the Atma division. Atma cannot be divided. That's why it will always remain Purna. But from the Prapancha, you have claimed one part as your Sharira. Having claimed, in associating with the Prapancha as a Sharira, I have taken my role as a subject, then the object is all separated out. Therefore, aham vritya ubhayam raktam, both are tainted now. There was one without a second, there was nothing else. Now there is a division due to aham vritti. Tannashe means aham vritti nasha, that ahankara nasha, individuality goes away. Tannashe sati, ahankara nashe sati, aham vritti nashe sati, advaitata, atmana advaitata bhavati. Atma remains one without a second. So this is the journey. The sansarana is due to ahankara, causing subject-object division, growing them also both. Then subject causes the object to be colored, object causes subject to be colored. This is samsarana. Shobhanadhyasa, raga, dvesha, ityadi, it expands. But what is the root cause? This ahankara. So you take away the root cause, Atma remains advitiya. So that is the idea here. Drishyanutanta drashtru. There is no anvaya in the first half. Amritya ubham raktam. So here the anvaya is you just swap these advaitata atmana. Atmana advaitata bhavati. So you swap this, it's easier anvaya. Nothing else to be changed. So this is the, we'll look at more in the next part. Stop here. So drishyayi. Yeah. यत्साक्षात् सच्चिदानंदं प्रत्यगद्वयम् अक्रियं तन्नमामि निरस्य योगी गम्यं परम पदम. What is, there's a chat. Okay, somebody, oh, okay, somebody left during class. Okay, namaste, dhanyawada. See you in the next part.
Just to the point. Namaste.